All right, so very good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you everyone for giving us an opportunity to connect with all of you. I think great audience. I'm sure there will be more audience coming in anytime soon, but great to connect with all of you. And I was just hearing about that panel discussion which just happened right now, and in terms of Gen AI and a lot of other things. But I think key takeaway for me from that panel discussion is I know it's a brilliant idea, it's a brilliant concept. But I think there's a long way to go, and it's an expensive affair also. That's what I could figure out from here. But yeah, good to connect with a lot of audience here. Again, I'll introduce myself. I'm Sandeep. I'm part of a solution architect team with Zscaler. Very new to Zscaler. I just joined three to 4 months back. That's my stint at Zscaler right now. But again, looking forward to meeting a lot of customers here. So with this, today my point of discussion is basically how we are helping customers today, right? Especially in the B2B market, B2C market. There are a lot of areas which we have been helping customers today, and I just want to give you a small glimpse in terms of what all we do. But happy to connect maybe at the later day and to discuss much more in detail. But I just want to take the next 10 minutes to 15 minutes of time in terms of giving you an overview in terms of where we are currently. So we spoke about this at length. I think that's one of the key topics today as well with respect to digital transformation. And I'm sure all of you agree that today we can call ourselves as a fintech nation, right? So India is purely a fintech nation today, especially if you look at the amount of unicorns, what is grown. For example, let's say we have more than 20 plus unicorns today, 30 plus unicorns. There are a lot of other, players which is currently in the growth stage as well. So that gap is growing each and every day. I think we just saw an example of a lot of people talking about in terms of the way they have defined their environments. So which means from that fintech as a market or anything tech as a market that is growing at a very faster pace. And I think I also strongly believe that lending tech is one of the sectors which is a part of a subsector under fintech is one of the areas which you will see a very large growth. I'm sure they may take more than 50% market share growing forward is what I feel. So the point what I'm trying to make here is any new age companies, if you look at, or if you look at the existing B2B customers or any new age companies, what you look at, the most important thing what they've done internally is looking at how do we transform our business. Especially in a B2C market is all about business to a consumer, where me as a consumer or me as a user, how soon can I access that particular application, how soon can I access those particular services. That's something which these companies will be focusing about. But however, if you look at on the backside, I think I heard CTO of Zepto talking earlier. So if you look at each and every players have played a very critical game. This could be at the application team, this could be at the network side of things, this could be at the security side of things. Everyone has thought in a slightly different angle saying that how fast we can reach back to our customers or how easy from a user experience point of view. So a lot of the factors would have gone in there. So which means everything what the team also spoke about or what other companies are looking at is kind of a transformation journey which is kind of disruptive in nature, which is B2B or a B2C for that matter. And I think that's where this is what I'm trying to cover in this particular area. And if you look at from a use cases point of view, there are few areas which we are helping customers today. And I think even though from a B2C market point of view, right, if you currently look at, since that is more the audience here, if you look at that, again, it's more about how fast that particular applications or that experience is given back to the users. But however, if you take a step back and then look a little bit inside to your infrastructure as well, there are few areas like how does your employees access your critical applications? You may be running as a new age companies, you may be running a lot of your applications on the cloud side of things. How easy to work or how agile is your cloud today? How fast is your cloud today? How secure is your cloud today? So when I'm speaking about from a use case point of view, what I'm also looking at is while the external factors is very much important, we also need to look at how we look at within the organization. How is my employees talking? How is my developers talking to my applications? Is there any kind of a third parties which is getting access to my particular applications? How well it is connected internally from a security landscape point of view. So these are a very large number of areas which we have been helping customers today. If you go forward, and this is a classic case, right? Especially if you look at from a smartphone market, if you look at from an India point of view, we are touching close to around billion smartphone users. I'm sure in the next 1 year, we'll have more than 1 billion smartphone users. And in that, if you again do a small split, you can see that especially in the urban market, we'll have close to around 300 to 400 million smartphone users. What do we mean by that is, the end of the day, those kind of mobile applications which is connecting back to your infrastructures, right? The company infrastructures, the banking infrastructures, the payment infrastructures for that matter. Those handheld devices or smartphone users are very large in number, which means from a security point of view, even though the infrastructure can be made secure, one area which we need to also focus is if you are having an application on your phone. This could be any type of operating system what you're running. If you're connecting from that particular phone on that particular application, connecting back to that particular infrastructure of the business, we want to have that end-to-end security in place. Take an example of a mobile banking. I have an Axis Bank mobile app on my phone, or an ICICI Bank mobile app on phone, or maybe a new age companies which I have an app on my phone, and I'm connecting securely to those applications wherever they're hosted, maybe on the cloud or wherever it is. So we want that end-to-end channel to be secure in nature, because from a security, that's one of the risky areas what we feel, because going forward, since everything is going to be a smartphone kind of a market, we feel there's a lot of security focus there as well. Few areas I just spoke about. As I said, this could be on the BFSI side, this could be on the fintech side of things. End of the day, or could be an API connectivity, what is happening from your phone to that particular application, or wherever you're accessing from, any device which you're accessing from. We want to be sure that those kind of applications which is there as a part of your handheld devices are securely talking to the destinations. That's something which you're looking at. Currently, is that secure? Absolutely it is secure, but there are areas of improvement in that particular connectivity model. That is something which we are trying to help customers today. And we are growing in that particular fashion. We are also working closely with many fintech customers. We are working closely with few banking customers so that we can get this right in the next upcoming months. So a classic case here, if you look at the statistics, if you look at here, right? So we spoke about more than 200 billion. So this kind of investments what you currently see on a security market today. This is last year's numbers, but I'm sure that this number is only going ahead. Especially the likes of the AI talks what is currently coming in. You need more and more security engines which can secure those infrastructures as well. Now, why is the reason for this? The most of the reason what we typically hear is, especially if you take JPAC as a market, right? In B2C, I'm sure the kind of components what we use internally may be less when I say in terms of securing your infrastructures compared to a B2B kind of customers. But on an average, if you look at in a JPAC market, easily at least 40-45% of your customers today at least are using more than 30 or 40 security tools. So every tool is solving a business problem, right? I have a user connectivity, I have a solution. I have a network connectivity, I have a solution. I need a cloud connectivity, I have a solution. I'm running developer world, I have a solution. So this is a proliferation of tools what we see currently, and this is currently still going on. And especially if you look at, I'm sure you'll be part of a leaderships as well. One of the key focus areas what every customers are talking to us is, can we do some consolidation today? Right? So people are talking about platforms, people are talking about platformization, but I don't want too many kind of a network security stacks or hardware stacks within my infrastructures. I move to cloud, which means I want to be a device free or hardware capacity free within my infrastructures. So you will see a lot of consolidation coming in the upcoming years. It is already started. As I said, people want to be, we were talking to one of the very large IT/ITES giant, and their group CIO's message is very clear, saying that there are too many engines to work on today, and I want to consolidate as much as possible. And that's the area what we are currently looking at, and that's one of the areas which we have been helping customers also. So this is where Zero Trust Exchange comes into play. I'll not talk the product side of things here, but however, what we are trying to do is consolidate as much as things as possible. So as you're seeing on the screen, as a B2C market, you may not be doing end-to-end too many security stacks what you see here, but in a large-scale customer, so if you look at a very larger picture, there are too many security stacks in place today, and customers want to consolidate as much as possible. When I say consolidate, it's not just an English word which we are trying to speak. End of the day, customers also need a proper business outcome, right? So let's say if I'm consolidating 10 tools onto one single platform, or I'm consolidating, let's say, 5 different tools onto a single platform, I need a proper outcome or a proper ROI from that particular change or that process change. That's something which we are talking about. This is another classic case which I've seen. Let me build the slide. This is a classic case which I have seen where, especially if you are acquiring another company. So look at, you have an IT infrastructure of yourself which is well maintained, well connected, everything is there. And especially in a B2C market or a B2B market, you will see a lot of companies getting acquired. Let's say I'll acquire another company, and what happens to that infrastructure if you want to onboard the new entity, which is the acquired entity, as a part of your systems? How fast can we do this? Because you may have a developer team who is managing your applications. Let's say you have 1,000 people which is working on your infrastructures. Now the acquired entity may be, let's say, a 100 user entity or maybe 500 user entity. Now how do we bringing that infrastructure as a part of your IT portfolio or your security portfolio or application portfolio? This is something as an M&A, as a practice, which we have been helping customers. This is very widely seen in B2B space, especially because the acquisition rates is very high. But however, it easily applicable or equally applicable in a B2C market as well. So we have been helping customers so that we can consolidate these things, as you see on the left and right side of things. How do we merge these two companies together? But there are different areas on the back end, but from an IT connectivity point of view or a secure access point of view, this is something which we have solved this for customers. So rather than an onboarding time, maybe let's say it takes weeks, we are just trying to reduce it to a few days. So that's something which we have been doing for customers. I just want to share that example with all of you also right here. Okay. So that's where we are. I'll not run through the entire slide deck, but I think we have been working in this area for many years. I think especially in the India as a market, there are more than, I would say, 10 plus years in the India market as well. So a lot of customers, more than 400 plus customers, what we have here, and with a mix of B2Cs as well as B2Bs as well. And I think the biggest advantage what we are seeing is we have solved business problem for them. I think we spoke about platformization, we spoke about consolidation, we spoke about how do we securely connecting your workforce, how do you secure connecting your applications. So this is something which we have solved the problem for customers, and that's why we have been one of the trusted vendors. I'm sure there are many other players in the market, but we have been fortunate enough to have one of the trusted vendors for a lot of our customers like yourself. And this is purely possible because there is a massive infrastructure which we are running on the backside. Let's say we as an infrastructure which is connecting the dots between multiple entities for your users to your applications, application to another application, third parties to your applications, acquired entity to acquired the new entity which you are acquiring. So everything is happened because there is a large infrastructure which we are running on the back end. We are also a SaaS company, and there is a large cloud infrastructures, could be an on-prem cloud, could be a CSP side of things. There is a large infrastructure which we are running on the back end. Highly resilient infrastructures. So let's say if you look at from a global point of view, we have touch base close to 150 locations, global locations. So wherever you have business presence, you can connect to the nearest locations what you have, getting connected back to your applications or infrastructure whichever you have. Let's say you're part of an India continent, and if you have a data localization policies, data privacy kind of a policy, no problem. You can still connect back to our India data centers and then ease your operations at scale. So that's something which we have been helping here as well. The last part, this is also possible with, there's a lot of technology partnerships what we also do, because it's not like one product fits everything, right? Or one platform fits for everything. You may have done a lot of investments on other technologies. How do we connect the dots with other technologies? Let's say you may be a huge Microsoft shop for that matter. I'm just giving an example. So how do we have the intelligence which is connected back to your existing systems? It's not a rip and replace kind of a model what we are currently looking at. We want to value the investments what you have already done, and from a technology integration point of view, the solution is fully API ready. So you can talk back to your existing IT management tools, collaboration tools, ticketing tools, or internal CI/CD pipeline tools, anything for that matter. The integration is already readily available on the platform. So this is what I had to cover. Again, just to summarize, a few of the areas what I just spoke about is in terms of how do we ease user connectivity, so your workforce connectivity. The second part is how do we ease an application connectivity. The third part is how do we ease an M&A entity which is connecting back to your infrastructures. That's the third part what we said. And the fourth part, just to summarize in terms of the scale what we have on the back end, so that we can have all those engines and services connecting with each other. So that's what I had to cover. Happy to discuss much more in detail since we have only 10 to 15 minutes of time. Happy to discuss much more in detail at a later stage. We are also running a booth outside. When you exit and go to the right side, you have a booth which is running. In case of you have any further questions, happy to take it there as well. With that, thank you so much once again. Thanks once again for connecting with all of you.